All right, geometry lesson 8. So we're going to talk about using formulas in geometry. This should be a really easy lesson. Okay, I expect to probably be able to give you a good chunk of time to work on homework today. But we'll go through the notes here real quick. A formula is a mathematical relationship expressed with symbols, not unlike what we saw with the question we just did, answering from our homework where we had, 2w plus 3 times w equals 119, right? That's an example of an equation, but can you give me an example of a formula? Sorry, that wasn't a very good explanation. What types of... When we're talking about formulas, we're talking about something that we're going to use all the time. Now, the question did involve a formula, but it wasn't what I just said. Yeah, give me an example of a formula. Yeah, that's a good one. Length times width equals area of a what? Not all shapes. A what? Form. No. Square or rectangle. Okay? So length times width can give me the area of a rectangle or a square. Okay? Probably more specifically rectangle, because with a square we can use the formula area equals side squared, right? Because the length and the width are going to be the same thing. So those are examples of formulas. And we'll learn about a few more today. I don't really... The Pythagorean theorem is a formula. Right, but it is a formula. Okay? So a familiar formula is the formula for perimeter. Okay? The perimeter is the sum of the side lengths of a closed geometric figure. It is often thought of as the distance around a figure. When we talk about like a circle, perimeter and circumference are the same thing. Okay, so if you're asking for the distance around a circle, we use circumference, but it is perimeter. Okay, so in easiest terms, when we talk about quadrilaterals, okay, here we have a special formula to find the perimeter of a rectangle, where P is the perimeter and L. The reason I had to put it in italics like that is so that you can tell that it's not an I. Okay, so where L is the length of the rectangle, length of the rectangular base, and W is the width or height of the rectangle. So perimeter is 2 times the length, okay, because I have 2 of the same length, plus 2 times the width. Okay, that's how we would find the perimeter. All right, don't get confused with perimeter and area. Those are things that people mess up all the time, just as much as they mess up circumference and area of a circle. Okay, so we understand the difference between some of this? Okay, so 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Or I could do length plus width, and just add all of the sides together, right? Okay, so if I can't remember a formula, does that mean I have to get the question wrong? No. Can we can use our common sense, we can use our brain, all right, to find perimeter if we know what perimeter is. Okay? The area of a figure is the size of the region bounded by the figure. How much space does it take up in square units? Okay, so in the case of a rectangle, we already ran into this today, right? The area of a rectangle is found by the following formula, where L is the length of the figure's base and W is the length of the figure's height. Area equals length times width. Do we feel like, hey, if this is what we're doing today, like I might actually be all right? Yeah? All right. Then we move on to triangles, which I think you guys still probably know this information or have heard this information, even if you don't have it off the top of your head. It's not new. Okay? The area of a triangle is found by the following formula, where area equals either or. Now, your book is only giving you one of these formulas, where it's telling you 1/2 times the base times the height. I prefer not to multiply by a fraction if I don't need to. I would much rather just divide by a number. So that's why I give you or, area equals base times height, divided by 2, right? Because if they give me an even number, then I'm solid, okay? All right, so this is an example of doing this. Obviously, the simplest type of triangle that we can solve this for is a right triangle, okay, because my height is actually one of my sides. All right, then we get into the Pythagorean theorem. Sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. That's a really complicated sentence. A and B have to be the legs of a right triangle, is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse C, and it's written as A squared plus B squared equals C squared. By raise of hands, how many of you have seen or used that formula before? Okay, good. Okay, so let's have a quick conversation about the hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse and where is it? What is the hypotenuse? Yeah, that's I don't need the Key and Peele skit. If that's all you know about it, then you're not going to probably do very well. Okay? What is the hypotenuse? Okay, the hypotenuse is denoted as the letter C, but what is the hypotenuse? How do I identify it? It's okay. I heard Jose say something. What did you say? It's the long side. Okay? So be a little bit more specific. It's the long side. Can we say that it is the longest side of a right triangle? Okay? But if I look up here, do you see any numbers associated with A, B, or C? So how do I know that C goes there? Because what? It's at a diagonal. But if I turned it, you may not know. What about the right angle? It's opposite the right angle. So, two things. Okay? It will always be the longest side of a right triangle if I know what the side lengths are. Okay? Two, it will always be located opposite the right angle. Okay? It will always be across from the right angle. It doesn't matter how it's been flipped, turned, or rotated. Okay? It will always be opposite the right angle. So if you know where the hypotenuse is, A and B, it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B. The only one that matters what it is C. Okay? Because I can't, with these side links, if I knew what they were, I can't say, all right, let's say we have a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Okay, 3 squared plus 4 squared does equal 5 squared. Because 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 9 plus 16 is 25, 5 squared is 25. But if I don't know where C is, then I could end up doing 5 squared plus 3 squared equals 4 squared. Right? Well, 25 plus 9 doesn't equal 16. Right? I have to know which one is the hypotenuse and where to put it in my equation. Does that make sense? All right, so there is a reason to this. All right. That's it for that. So what we'll do is let's look at some questions. Let's see, we need to pull it up though. And we are what, lesson 9? 8, sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Question number 1. Find the perimeter of a square if one side measures 6 inches. What do you do if it's a square? Go ahead, Chandler. No. Anybody know why it's not side squared? Because we're not talking about area. Right? This is asking for perimeter. 6 times 4 because all 4 sides are the same length, right? So make sure that you establish first what it is that I'm looking for before I use a formula that doesn't work to do that. So 6 times 4 is 24. Okay? All right, let's come down here. Again, what am I looking at? Perimeter or area? Perimeter. And we do have, does anybody remember from the notes what the formula for perimeter of a rectangle is? Gosh, if only you could just pull it up and look at it. Length plus width? Okay, so I'm hearing length plus width plus another length plus another width. Is there any way to simplify that equation, Chandler?
2 times length plus 2.
Okay, 2 times length plus 2 times W, right? Okay, so we got 2 times what? 2 times 12 plus 2 times, okay, what's 2 times 12? What's 2 times 16? 32. All right, so what's the perimeter? 56. Okay, yeah, you could have done it in a calculator. And do I really, I mean, if I know what I'm doing, do I need all of those steps? No, if I know what I'm doing, I probably don't need to write down those two things, right? I can solve that a lot quicker, correct? Okay. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, 56 was D. All right, Jordan, how do I find the area of this next rectangle? Multiply. What am I multiplying? 17 and 7.2 because the area of a rectangle has what formula? Very good. Length times width. So what is 17 times 7.2? 122.4. Very good. Okay. Let's try to cover at least one word problem here. All right, for her birthday party, Kelly's invited her friends to a nearby roller skating rink. The area of the rectangular rink is 2,108 feet squared. The length is 68 feet. What is the width of the rink? Okay, what should I do first? Does anybody know? What would you do first? Write out everything I know. Okay. What is the shape of the rink? It's a rectangle. Okay. What else do I know? I know the area. Okay. I know the area. What is the area? 2,108. Okay. What else do I know? I know one of the widths. Well, you've got the question in front of you, right? Because you just got to open the other document. The length is 68 feet. Okay. What are we actually trying to solve for? The width. All right. What formula would I use? Area equals, or in this case, length times width, right? Can I substitute any numbers in for any of those values? Okay, so what am I putting in for A? Okay. Am I putting in anything for length? 68. And am I putting anything in for width? Okay. And I want to solve for W. How do I solve for W, Jose? Divide by 68. Okay, what's 2,108 divided by 68? 30 what? 31. 31 feet is our width. If I scroll back up, okay, our width is 31 feet. Okay, take what you know. If you need to, draw a picture. Geometry works really well for pictures, okay, illustrations. Right, and you see how easy that was to solve once we kind of started to put the pieces together, right? I don't know about you, but it helps me because I can't automatically see it and I can't automatically do it in my head, okay? All right, let's see. I'm going to give you guys about 15 minutes to work on homework, okay? I expect you to work on homework in these 15 minutes, okay? Question? On your homework? All right, let me get the video closed out and then I'll be there, okay?